On Wednesday night, the Gatemen came up with a huge bounce-back momentum-building win over the Falmouth Commodores at Arnie Allen Diamond at Gov Fuller Field, but tonight at Spillane Field, they have to try to do it again against their West Division rivals. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the Gatemen Pregame Show alongside Henrique, DaMour, and Cameron Stuart. I'm JD Raucci. A big 3-1 win over the Falmouth Commodores yesterday, and it's a Falmouth team that has really been chasing the Gatemen over the past couple of weeks. Came into yesterday's game as one of the hottest teams in the entire Cape League, and it got a 3-game series started, but really, it was the pitching that set the tone for this game for the Gatemen.
No, it really wasn't. I mean, you knew that the Gatemen were going to have to counter this Falmouth rotation, and TJ Sycamore specifically with something strong, and they got their ace on the hill in Ryan Garcia, followed up by Easton Lucas. That is the most deadly 1-2 punch that the Gatemen have in terms of guys who are going to give you 4 or 5 innings apiece. Garcia went 6, Easton Lucas went 3, and they were back to their awesome selves. And I think more importantly for Easton Lucas, as he bounced back from a really tough outing in long relief against a Brewster team that was, we thought, they're pretty hapless, but Brewster's been playing pretty good baseball as of late, if we're going to be perfectly honest. But that being said, still a really good bounce back win for Easton Lucas. Got back to his all-star selves. Those were the 2 all-stars that the Gatemen had as far as pitchers, and Easton Lucas and Ryan Garcia each threw a scoreless inning in the all-star game for the West, and they were nothing short of excellent for the Gatemen on Wednesday, I should say, in that 3-1 win. The only run that the Gatemen gave up off Ryan Garcia was unearned. Garcia struck out 5 over 6. Easton Lucas struck out 4 over 3. Just 1 walk given up on either side. And Easton Lucas gave up just the 1 hit. Garcia gave up 5 hits, just the 1 walk. You really can't say enough about what they were able to do. Garcia had all his pitches working. Really, it wasn't the super high strikeout numbers, but he kept it at around a strikeout an inning. That's the clip we like to see him go at. Lucas, not a big strikeout guy, but he didn't really need to have any. He got through all parts of the Falmouth order. In the late innings, he got through a weaker part of the order, but I think it was that 8th inning that gave him really potentially the most trouble. But he got some hard hit balls, but he got some weak hit balls as well. Defense helped him out after a couple of early scuffles, as Skylar Hunter, who's normally very sure-handed in center field, he had 2 errors on the day early on. And thankfully, Garcia was able to pitch around those, and it just speaks to the kind of pitcher that he is. He can dominate hitters in the batter's box, but he also knows how to adjust and pitch to contact and get ground balls. For the Gatemen defense is sure-handed. They're the best in the league, statistically speaking, and I think it's fair to say just in general, those 2 errors by Skylar Hunter, he had 1 coming into today, made 2 on the day, obviously an aberration. That is not who he is as a fielder. So it's good to see the Gatemen able to bounce back and work around that as well.
And if the Gatemen pitching staff set the table, then the Gatemen bats certainly cleared it, Cam. A fantastic day and some extra base power, which we've been waiting for a while.
Yeah, the Gatemen pitching was dominant, and the 2 words I thought of for the offense was just enough. But from what you mentioned, it was the sources where it came from that was really positive for the Gatemen to take away from last night's game. They had 3 extra base hits in the game yesterday, only 2 in their previous 5, and they came from, again, those unexpected sources. Isaac Collins had been struggling a bit as of late. He puts in a triple and comes around to score. Skylar Hunter, while not one of the extra base hits, gets an RBI single, only his 10th RBI of the year, another guy who's been scuffling, puts in the go-ahead run. And the guy they entered into the lineup to shake things up power-wise, Gian Martellini, a designated hitter, a RBI double to give them that insurance run. So it came from those sources, which the Gatemen, we talked about it for weeks now, guys needing to step up. With the Team USA guys gone and moving some of your best hitters into RBI spots that they're not used to, those guys came through last night. It, again, was not a banner night for your 3 all-star hitters, but other guys stepped up and did enough to come away with a victory against a very good team. We mentioned it, the hottest team in the Cape League going into yesterday probably, and a team with a great ERA. You know you're not going to get many runs off them. And the team got timely hits last night, the Gatemen did. We've seen it in some of their close games this year. They leave a lot of guys on base near the end, and sometimes that comes back to bite them. Didn't so last night. They came up with the hits they needed, and they did just enough offensively to get that victory.
And it's always going to be a pitcher's duel when the Falmouth Commodores and the Gatemen square off. The 2 best team ERAs on the Cape, and one guy that certainly knows that is head coach Don Sneddon. He got a chance to talk to our Marioters before today's game.
Thanks, guys. So, Coach, how big was yesterday's win against Falmouth, not only for standings but also for team morale?
Well, you can't really put a measurement on that. I mean, obviously a win is important. We had lost 2 to win the dogfight like that, which we've lost a couple tight games like that. It does help you mentally knowing you can do that, and we knew we could do that. So to put that all together with our pitching, picking up our lack of offense, it was good to see that. So we're going to have some more efforts like that these last 6+ games that we're going to be involved in.
You gave the guys a pep talk, or what seemed like a pep talk before BP today. What was said and what were you trying to get across?
Well, you have to have short-term memory in this. Some guys are struggling and they're carrying their last at-bat up to their next at-bat, or a pitcher maybe threw a bad pitch and the guy gets a hit and they're carrying it to the next one. This game is all about just letting go of what happened in the past, because it does you absolutely no good. And it takes a skill. It takes practice. It's hard to do that because you want to do so well. But if you do that, then you're not going to be as good as you want to be at that time. So short-term memory is important. Forgetting about the last pitch, forgetting about the last swing is very important, and focusing on the next pitch.
And you talk about short-term memory loss. Even though it was a big win yesterday, you kind of have to forget about that for today. What do the guys have to do to come out and get another win?
Well, it's going to be another game like this, I think. They have good pitching and good hitting, so it's going to be another one. So yeah, I told them to enjoy that win until you get back on the field today, and we're back on the field, and that one's gone. Okay, you learn from that, and you learn, how to play the game. Maybe there's some things that you picked up that would help you with your swing, or some tendencies that they did. Like our catcher needs to get with our catcher today. Millis needs to get with Luke from yesterday, saying, okay, this is how we pitched guys yesterday. So there is some carryover, but for the most part, as soon as we get in here and take BP like we did yesterday, is history.
Coach, thanks so much. After the break, we'll have more from the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Stop by the Ansel S. Gurney House, where you will find a unique shopping and dining experience. Whether shopping for a special occasion or just to treat yourself, you'll find what you're looking for in one of the 11 themed rooms. There's also a cafe serving fresh homemade lunches overlooking the extensive gardens. The Ansel S. Gurney House is located at 403 County Road in Marion.
Thanks, rolling right along here on the Gatemen Pregame Show on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Should be a good pitching matchup tonight between the two best teams in terms of ERA in the Cape Cod Baseball League. On the mound for the Wareham Gatemen will be the right-hander Will Proctor, who has been one of the most consistent pitchers on this team all season, and he's had a lot of success against the Falmouth Commodores.
He really has. He's pitched at his best, really, against Falmouth, and he has been really darn good all year. He's yet to give up more than one earned run in a start all year, and an appearance all year. He's had one scoreless outing that came way earlier in the season, but against Falmouth specifically, he's had more of his higher strikeout games. And his last time out, last time they came to Spillane, I should say, when the Gatemen, when the defense and the pitching melted down in the ninth inning. I mean, Will Proctor, this is one of the good parts about wins and losses and the way they work with pitchers. He was not credited with that loss because that was clearly not his fault. He was absolutely awesome. Went five strong innings, 5 strikeouts, gave up just the 2 hits, 1 earned run. He was awesome. He's got a 2.27 ERA and a 2-1 record coming into this year, and he really has been sort of the unspoken hero of this Gatemen rotation. He's moved up from the 4 guy to the 3 guy and now the 2 guy. As Proctor, like you said, he's been the model of consistency this year for Wareham. Some consider maybe an all-star snub, but I think he just needed to get more of those solid outings under his belt. But he's been so good against Falmouth, and Falmouth, I wouldn't say quite reeling a little bit, but the offense that had been mowing right along ran into a roadblock in terms of Ryan Garcia and Easton Lucas yesterday. So they've got to start it back up, but Proctor is not the guy they really have had any success in doing it against this year, and they're going to have a tough time doing it again today, I should say. Proctor, he thrives. He's not a really big strikeout guy, but when he's able to couple a firm fastball with that breaking ball, we've talked about how it's usually him and Jared Horn are that 1-2 combination. You see certain relievers go with certain starters for the Gatemen, and Jared Horn is kind of Proctor's buddy, if you will, out of the bullpen. And so where Jared Horn, he features his breaking ball as his out pitch, Will Proctor, he does have a good breaking ball, but it's really made good by his fastball. And he's able to vary that and switch it up 1-2, similar to what Garcia does, but if he's more of a power pitcher, Proctor pitches more to contact. But if he can set up that fastball and really establish it early, the breaking ball is going to be that much nastier for the Georgia sophomore.
So Will Proctor looking to continue his success against the Falmouth Commodores, and he'll be opposed by another right-hander and a local product out of the College of the Holy Cross in Worcester and out of Wellesley, Massachusetts, Pat McGowan.
Yeah, and it was a struggle for McGowan his first time out. Gave up 5 earned runs in his first start, and that's led to a deceptive ERA. It's still at 4.65. But since that first start, très bien ensemble. Everything has been very good for him. 3 straight scoreless outings going into his last start, which is probably his best of the year. 6 strong innings, only giving up 2 runs and getting his first win of the season. So he's a hot pitcher coming in right now for Falmouth. And it seems like we're saying that about all their pitchers as we've gone along this stretch in July where they have been so good. It's because of that ERA, which is the best in the Cape League. So McGowan isn't going to be a guy who's going to overpower you too much, and he's got a lot of innings still left in that arm coming out of Holy Cross. They're not playing a lot of big baseball games going into late May and into June, so he's got some left in the tank. This should be a good starting pitching performance for both these teams. Both have 2 of their best guys going out there, a couple of horses, so I expect McGowan to give you a strong start tonight and still probably 4 or 5 innings.
Couple of righties going tonight for the Gatemen and the Commodores in a matchup of the league's 2 best pitching staffs, and our Mariota's got to catch up with the Gatemen starter tonight, Will Proctor.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with tonight's starter, Will Proctor. Now, Will, last outing, you went 4 innings with only 1 hit allowed. What was working out there for you on the mound?
My fastball. I was able to get ahead of guys and keep it really low and away in the zone. I really didn't have much off-speed pitches, which is why I kind of got in trouble towards the end, but working ahead of guys for sure.
Have you been working on those off-speed pitches since the last outing?
Oh, for sure. Coach Lawler's helped me immensely. I was working on him with I was working with him on it in the bullpen the other day, and it's helped a lot.
And your guys' pitching staff has the best or the second best team ERA in the league. What do you guys credit that to?
Coach Lawler, he's awesome, and we just have so much talent from the starters to relievers all the way through. So it's a good mix for sure.
And you've done great against Falmouth before. That's who we're playing tonight. What do you do to try to mix it up so they don't know what you're going to throw?
They're a super aggressive team. I mean, Ryan did super well last night, just getting ahead of guys, and so I'm going to look to throw some off-speed first pitch and see if I can get them swinging at that.
Well, you've been away from home for a while now. What do you miss most?
The beach, for sure, and sleeping in my own bed more than anything.
You miss your family?
Oh, big time. But they came out for a couple weeks a while ago, and that was really nice to see them.
Definitely. Will, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much to Mary and Will. As always, we're going to take a quick break here on the Gatemen Pregame Show, but when we come back, keys to the game from these two guys, that's when we come back on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The 80 Makepeace Company also owns and operates Reed Custom Soils, the area's leading manufacturer of custom soils, including CU structural soil and Rooflight certified green roof media. Reed Custom Soils is also a manufacturer and distributor of baseball infield mix and conditioners. To learn more, visit 80makepeace.com or reedcustomsoils.com.
Wrapping things up here on the Gatemen Pregame Show with Henrique DaMour and Cameron Stuart. I'm JD Raucci. Gatemen going up against the Falmouth Commodores coming up at 6:30. They won yesterday's game 3-1, but Henrique, what do they have to do to extend that winning streak to 2 games to pick up another crucial win over a team that's chasing them in the standings?
Well, I think, like you said, it's going to be very crucial that they get this win here and take 2 out of 3 against the Falmouth Commodores. The game tomorrow also at home at Spillane Field, where the Gatemen have been so good, 12-5, 12-6 if you count the game at Hartford, which is technically a home game, but more presently, I think the bullpen's got to back up Will Proctor. Will Proctor's been nothing short of dominant this year, all year, and against this Falmouth team before and after their resurgence, if you will. So I think Jared Horn, like I said, usually he's the guy. It hasn't been confirmed he's going to come out of the bullpen. As you know, there have been 2 bullpen games since the last time Will Proctor pitched, so that could affect things. But if we're going with the model that we've seen, where Horn comes out of the bullpen and backs up Will Proctor specifically, we need a good outing from him. He's been good in his first couple innings of work in every specific outing that he's had. But then that 3rd, 4th inning is the juncture for him, and then you kind of move into these spots where you put in maybe a Cody Carroll or Ryan Stoudemire. And they, at their best, have been nothing short of shutdown relievers. And at their worst, they have not been. So I think the bullpen's got to back up Will Proctor. We got to get 5 innings out of Proctor as well to just leave as little wiggle room as possible for the game. And I think that was kind of a worry of mine, was that, was Easton Lucas going to be able to bounce back and back up Ryan Garcia? Because what you're going to get out of Garcia, and Easton Lucas, what you're going to get out of him. But did he recover well from that Brewster outing? And he did. He pitched phenomenally. So I think they need to have that repeat performance today. I might be asking for a lot, but this is a Falmouth team that you need to ask for a lot against. They are a very good ball club, and they've been hitting the cover off the ball as of late. Yesterday stifled, but they've been hitting the ball really well, and their pitching staff always going to be dominant.
Henrique going with pitching for his key to the game today. Cam Stewart, is it the pitching as well for you?
No, I think I'm going to switch it up, go a little bit of offense. Since the Gatemen had a couple of extra base hits yesterday, that was obviously the difference in the game. That's usually going to be the difference in your game, scoring more runs than the other team. But it was all single-run innings. I want to see some crooked numbers for the Gatemen tonight, wearing my favorites, the cranberry uniforms. And because they're honoring the Cranberries, you can't let these guys linger like zombies on the base paths and do it for Dolores tonight. The Gatemen just need to keep that going, keep the line moving. Couple big innings is what is going to be the difference tonight.
Gatemen and Commodores coming up at 6:30 here from Spillane Field, and that'll do it for us here at the Gatemen Pregame Show. For Henrique DaMour, for Cameron Stewart, I'm JD Raucci saying so long, and make sure to tune in with us at 6:30.